Hello, Blazy. Hello, hello. It's 4 a.m. Uh, Wait, if it is 4 a.m. for you, oh right, that's what? Somewhere in the middle of the U.S. Like 6 hours ago, right? So like East Coast. Which ads did you get? Yeah, animated. I don't support animated emojis. Well, emotes. Sorry. For now. I think it's something that I should add support for. I don't know how Ghosty deals with that, so we would have first to see how well Ghosty fares with the Kitty Graphics protocol, the part about animations, and then yeah, we would have to, I don't know, make this stuff work. So I'll get there eventually. I'll get there. For now, we have more delightful data serialization language stuff to go through. Gamer RGB slop. Nice. Nice. I really feel like slop should be word of the year. Have they announced the word of the year yet for 2025? I forget who is it that does this. Some dictionary thing. Okay, so what are we doing today? I think I'm gonna start with this, and specifically, I think I'm gonna start with this for YAML. We're gonna do YAML first. YAML, my beloved. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, slop is hardly new. As a word, I'm aware, but like its usage when describing you know, stuff that you consume intellectually, that seems kind of a new thing. Maybe not entirely new. I would not be surprised if in the past somebody defined something that some, I don't know, text or something as slop, or like some, I don't know, movie thing as slop. But as of late, I don't know. I feel like it kind of became more relevant in that sense. Toml is better than YAML. Fight me. Oh, I mean, I feel like you can put almost anything to the left of that equation, and I would agree. I feel like the only thing you cannot put to the left is YAML and templated YAML. These are the two things that you cannot put to the left. Everything else, I think, I'm mostly fine with it. Smut is a word used for books for a while, right? But same corner. Yeah, but smut, I think smut has also the implication that there's sexual content in it, right? Yeah, low bro horny. Nice. Yeah. Smut. So has anybody seen there were some like YouTube videos about there was one from Shoe on Head about Morning Glory Milking Farm talking about smut. Although it would people still want to describe that as smut? I mean, I think they should, but who knows? Times change. Okay, give me a sec. I'll go get some tea. You can take this time to Google what is Morning Glory Milking Farm, um, if you don't know. And when I come back, we can start working with YAML. Let's go. Okay, I'm back. I like what Surda does. Surdi. I think in my case, I can. Surdi would not help me, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. But in my case, what I need is I need an AST. I want a tree with nodes, and I want those nodes to point at a byte offset in the original string so that I can say, if I don't like this node, I can say, I don't like node at byte offset. Well, at the end of the day, it becomes at line and column. So, so there's that. Okay. So how do we do this? Let's take a look at the state of convert. So I was looking at convert the other day, and I don't really like what's in here. Like I really, really do not like what's in here. So there's a bunch of render JSON shit in here, despite there being a JSON file. So why is JSON crap like leaking in here? Who knows? This stuff has been like this for a while now. Here's what I'll do. Take all this JSON stuff, move it to JSON. Maybe we'll need it, maybe we won't. I don't know. But at least we stay with what we need. So diagnostic is not a thing anymore. Load schema. Oh, this thing is this still? Yeah, but it regressed. So it just returns default schema. This is the old stuff. So we don't need this. And I think we should kill load schema entirely. I mean, as a file. Where's load schema? Goodbye. So just can't. Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, it's also in the name. I guess different people use these terms in different ways, but to disambiguate between making an AST and keeping, let's call them source locations versus taking the document and turning it into data. I think parsing versus deserializing is a good way of using different words to explain the two different processes, the two different, let's say, flavors of parsing. If you're using still an unprecise word, and I mean it's in the name, right? So D is for serialization and deserialization, it seems. Yeah, Triciter can, because Triciter builds ASTs. The problem with Triciter is that it's not a good parser. Triciter is good for syntax aligning. It's not good for much else. With all due respect. Also, there was this point about the album. I don't remember if I answered to that. But yeah, this is glitch mob indeed. Okay, let's take a look at our interface first and see if we like it or not. So Ziggy convert, then you pass either std in and a language, or you pass -- language path, and then there can be more stuff. So you can do std in, that defines the input format in case that the input format is coming from, well, std in. In other cases, it works as a filter, as in, I want you to process JSON files, I want you to process YAML files, I want you to process TOML files, and I want you to process Ziggy files. And so this converts files of that with the corresponding language from path, either because it's a individual file or because it's a directory. This sucks because for directories, maybe this makes sense. That you specify which files to, well, which file kind to convert. But if you're pointing at an individual file, what even is the point? Maybe convert should not accept paths, maybe as in directories. Maybe convert should only accept individual files, like many of those potentially, including files with different extensions. But I'm starting to think that providing it with directories doesn't really help. I think it makes usage clunkier than it has to be. I've seen people build compilers with register-based parsers. Jesus Christ. That's actually how it started. My Super HTML templating language started by using Triciter as the HTML parser, but it's just not good. First of all, Triciter, it does not exist a Triciter parser for HTML that is spec compliant whatsoever. They all take shortcuts. And then it's just abysmal quality what happens when there's a syntax error. Hey, CryptoCode, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Beaver, good morning. Oh, man. Europe is waking up, huh? Well, I don't know. I mean, you guys are, I'm guessing, are probably have been up already for a bit, but welcome, welcome. So I'm thinking of changing the interface. Because that if I don't, then it sucks because you're basically forced to do this. You're forced to do this. Ziggy convert dash JSON foo.json. It's so redundant. You want to do this. Ziggy convert foo.json. And we know what this thing is because it has JSON in the name. Ba-bum. So, yeah, I'm thinking of taking this back. So we don't do flags anymore. So it's either std in lang or just a list of paths. Something like this. Although the triple dot notation, I just made it up. I don't know if that even is a thing. To override. Hey, Ethernet cable. Man, yeah, we could override, but so that means that you have like a .yaml file that you want to load as a toml. Like, why are you even doing that stuff? I guess you could have like extensionless files. Flags being optional is not a bad idea. Yeah, so every one of these guys is either a file or a flag followed by a file, and you can either specify it or skip it. So it would be like this. Something like this. Maybe for SDD. Yeah, SDD is a thing. So you can definitely do that for SDD, which could also be the workaround in case you have an extensionless file. You cat the file into Ziggy. You know what? I do think that I think it's uncommon though for JSON, YAML, or TOML files to be extensionless. It's not impossible, but it's very unlikely. Okay, let's nuke this idea of prefixes. Let's also remove the ability to specify paths as directories. I think the convert will accept only documents. And then if you want a directory, I don't know, it's like on you to specify the entire directory. Like you basically have a glob pattern and then your shell is expected to expand that. I think that's fine. So, okay, let's do it this way. So it's either lang or instead of paths, let's call them doc path. Path to a document. Let's see. std in lang. Format bytes from std in output to std out. Lang defines the input file format, mutually exclusive with doc path arguments. To lang. The destination file format defaults to Ziggy. I think they should be like this. That's how it is, right? Like it's I guess what we're missing is that yeah, I think this is not specifying though that I guess we can put options in here. The problem with this syntax is that we're not specifying exactly what is to the left side of the pipe and what is on the right side to the pipe. So I guess we could put round parentheses. Is that what people do? I also, another thing that I have to be honest, I hate when CLIs are so complicated that it's like kind of hard to understand what's going on. You know what? Also, let's see what we do for FMT. FMT has something similar. FMT path options. Oh, we just do not show STD in the example here. You know what? Fuck it. I'm sold. Check it out. Yeah. Format bytes from STD in, output to STD out. Lang defines the input file format, mutually exclusive with docpath.com. Arguments to the destination file format defaults to Ziggy. Perfect. Schema. Path to a Ziggy schema used when Ziggy is the destination file format to produce a better typed output file will cause the process to error out if no reasonable origin file to schema mapping can be inferred. Replace. Deletes the origin file de facto, replacing it with the converted version, but with the new file extension. I think that's also fine by me. Dry run. Output the converted files to std out. This one could be done better. I think it should be just std out. One problem with this approach is, okay, let's say that you specify more than one file. What is it that we put on std out? Like, I mean, yeah, sure, we can put one file after the other, but then there should be some kind of a delimiter. You know what? I guess we can use triple dashes. Triple dashes are, at the end of the day, we already consider it a delimiter, so why not? So we have, in that case, we output one document, three dashes, new line, then another document. That works. Okay. The each. Well, each. In case that more than one doc path was specified, each resulting document will be, well, each, yeah, will be, oh, we can use this. There you go. In case that more than one doc path was specified, dashes will be used as a document separator. That works. Force override existing destination files. Ignore schema errors. Yeah, this we can make. I think we have a word for it now, which is I think in check that we have, which is lenient. Ignore Ziggy documents for which there is no matching Ziggy schema. In this case, yeah, we just list non-conforming files. Sorry, what am I saying? In our case, in this case, lenient means that we continue. We still print the error, but we continue the process. Okay, this should be our new help menu. I think we have index for detected extensions. Okay, so we have Ziggy, JSON. Maybe we should swap them around. YAML is the main one, I guess. JSON, YAML, TOML, Ziggy, and the last one is Zon. Now, these names are shorter, so we might as well get them closer. There you go. This doesn't seem bad. I think this stuff should move below. And then we should also add only paths to documents are supported. If you need to convert an entire directory, use blob pattern expansion features from your shell. Does Ziggy support the Norway type? Well, so while Ziggy itself doesn't care. In Ziggy itself, strings have delimiters around them, and there is no weirdo. What about JSON C? What's JSON C? Is that JSON plus comments? You know what? We could support stuff like JSON C, JSON 5, maybe. Is that JSON C? Let's see. Oh no, this motherfucking thing. Multi-line comments. Fuck. No, I'm not supporting JSON C. I'm sorry. You'll have to strip comments. Take your JSON C, turn it into normal JSON first, and then you can use it. Let's take a look at JSON 5. So JSON 5. Oh no, this thing has this. No, I'm sorry. JSON 5 is not supported either. Fuck. Fuck that. Simple JSON only. Sorry. Actually, Zon, I think it's written like this. The only language that isn't an acronym. There will never be a distinction spec with comments. Yeah, I'm sorry. To be fair, here's my plan for JSON. I'm not going to I'm not going to support JSON 5. I'm not going to support JSON C because they all have weird shit going on. But here's what I'm gonna do. I will use a Ziggy parser to parse the JSON. So to be clear, Ziggy is a superset of JSON. So every JSON document is a valid Ziggy document. And a JSON document, like JSON objects, map to Ziggy dictionaries. So you can take a JSON file and load it as Ziggy. Straight up, it works. It's just going to be untyped. So, but in this command, the conversion command in this case, more than anything else, helps you also with schema upgrades. So you have a JSON document, you make a schema for it that specifies that, for example, the outer thing is a struct, some other thing is something else, and then we turn that into a Ziggy schema. So, so does Ziggy support comments itself? It does, yes. You see here there's a comment, but it only supports single line comments. It doesn't support the /* multi-line style of comment. That thing is ass. So that's why I cannot support JSON C, because JSON C has support for that, and I don't want to support that. So no JSON C. But my point is that if you have a JSON document, if you want to have a JSON document where you just have trailing commas and comments, you can have it. That's valid Ziggy. Anyway, that might not help in every single case, because it depends in like how your ecosystem works. But yeah, that's the idea. In any case. Okay, so I feel like this is a good help menu. Detected file extensions. You can even do this. Converts files between Ziggy. Converted files will be placed next to the original. Detected file extensions. Okay. Never mind. I like this. Iron block comments parse without like strings, just without escapes and different separators. It gets more funky once you start thinking about nested stuff, which you might or might not want to support. And generally, would say you would not want to support, but sometimes you do. And I just don't like them in general, so I don't want to do work to support them. I also think that like this whole like JSON conversion thing is mainly to help people move to Ziggy and leave this crap behind. And the reality is that the people that are using JSON C, in my opinion, are like a very tiny minority, or even JSON 5. So it doesn't make too much sense to spend too much effort to then cover like a very tiny percentage of extra people. Not because I hate them, but because I have finite energy, so I better invest it in other stuff. Okay, let's upgrade the CLI parsing stuff to the new approach. So convert, it's either std_in or paths. So let's take a look at our data structures. 2, yes. So I guess mode is either std_in or paths, right? So we can do mode, and it's a union enum std_in, which contains a language, or it's paths, which contains a slice of strings. So this is our mode. Oh, we did have mode. Oh, holy shit. We already had this. Holy shit. Never mind. Okay, so put it up top. I thought we were doing something number. So good, 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 good. Dry run is renamed to std out. Force. And ignore schema errors is lenient. Okay, so far so good. This is not too bad. But paths is now simpler because it's just this. And I would put even lang above. There we go. I like this. Okay, parse. Std lang blah blah blah. Otherwise, just paths. Also, in languages, we need to add zone. To it's this schema. It's this replace. Dry run becomes std out. Force ignore schema errors becomes lenient. Okay, we look for help, fatal help. We see one of these guys, they do not exist anymore. So, yeah, so we were looking for the flag and then an argument right after. Okay, let's completely take this out for now. Let's see. We see two. All these print exit, where's fatal? Give me fatal. There we go. Okay, so we see two. If you already have one, we complain. If you go to the next thing, into option value, schema. If you already have one, complain. Yeah. Oh, look, this was a bug. Missing two option value, missing schema option value. That is a little bit too long, maybe. 94. Ooh, but you know what? We don't have to worry about new lines anymore. That helps. Okay, this is schema. Replace. Duplicate, replace flag. Dry run. So two schema. Yeah, dry run becomes std out. There we go. Lenient. Force. There we go. Okay. Now we need to worry about std in, and then we need to have like a fallback. So std in, let's see. Oh, here we were complaining about this. I think std.fmt should have a formatter for strings that escapes non-UTF-8 bytes. I think that is fair. What you can do in the meantime is maybe take a look at what's inside std.zig. There might be something in there that helps, specifically when it comes to some string stuff. Like string literal. There might be something useful in here. This is specific to dealing with Zig string literals. But I think there might be something that might help. I don't know. But in any case, I think you have a good point. So I'm gonna move this out because we'll want to use it later on. I think here, but we don't want to do this. I think we want to grab std in if it's present. I think they should go above. Okay, so this is our main loop thing. Here we have an expected argument. Instead, we should consider it part of our paths now. Okay. So this is our loading phase and we're done. Then after we're done with this, let's see what this is doing. If Ziggy pass is greater than 0, oh, here's what we need to do. I think we need to check. So we're in the doc path case, and I think we should write down if we've seen a doc path that ends in .ziggy. Because Ziggy, or yeah, because we want you know what I'm thinking? Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of nuking also the --2 argument, because we do want to support conversion from Ziggy to other formats, but it makes this whole thing weird to use. I think the convert should just be other formats to Ziggy, and then there should be something else like export, for example, that takes Ziggy files and outputs them to other document formats. And that way we can take this out and there's no like weirdness. I'm taking this out. Which means that this is now part of this. Okay, because nothing else uses lang. So options are std in schema replaces the out force lenient. That's fine. So no more 2. Okay. And so this way we don't have to do a bunch of validation. Or rather, we'll still need to do some, but I'm going to do, you know what, I'm going to redo everything from scratch at this point. So let's see. If std in different than null and paths.items.len greater than 0, then fatal. Oh, you know also what? Guess what does fatal do? It prints fatal error. So, oh, we're shortening these guys even more. Okay, so fatal. Dash std in and doc path arguments are mutually exclusive. Okay, so they are mutually exclusive. I would say that std out of force should also be considered mutually exclusive. Maybe also lenient without schema. But whatever. I think this is the big one. Everything else doesn't matter much. Okay, so if std in, if else is just paths. Expected semicolon after statement. Are you sure about that? Like this. Okay. No more 2. Smooth mode at the top. Okay. Okay. I think this is good CLI parsing now. We simplified the CLI a bunch, and I think it's just good. It's just good to simplify these CLI options. Nice. Next. Let's start using this bad boy. Oh, look, there was a fatal fatal dia. Okay. No, some of this stuff goes away. Okay. Built-in mode breakpoint. Yeah. Okay, parse the command works for me. And then looking at the mode, we do different things. So it's either std in or paths. Okay. Let's do std in first. We're grabbing in and out from file. I think we should do it as FS file. I think we should do it from IO. And I think oops. In and out. And then switch lang. And then we do convert to Ziggy. Okay, so how do we do this stuff now? The new way of doing this that is not tied to one language. Do we have one big function where we do more dispatch, or do we dispatch here? I think we should dispatch here. I think this is where we do the dispatching. So here we say, in our case, .yaml, that's what we care about. That's what we want to implement first. And you know what? Let's kill also this other guy, because who cares? Okay, YAML. So how do we do this? I guess I want to read from std in. And then we want to call something specific. So, oh, here we have YAML as a dependency, which we are importing. So in my zone file, we don't have support for YAML anymore. We have nothing that gives us YAML. So, okay, that's the thing that we need to look into. Also, I don't think it is something that we would want to have in here. I think that we will want, yeah, convert directory, and we want something like this. We want YAML to be this. And then I think we would want to read here the file, pass a string to that thing, obtain a string back, and then print the string out. And I bet you that that's what FMT does in the std in case. Yeah, reads. You know what? Copy everything. So basically this goes outside, because we do that no matter what. Then here we do outputs is going to be YAML.convert. And we pass down GPA, sure. Yeah, okay, so this looks good to me. Down here we pass in bytes for sure, but we need to also take a look at the schema if the schema is present, which is kind of an important part of this. Because without schema, this is the sad part. Without schema, we are basically converting to JSON. You know what? Maybe the schema is not optional. Maybe the schema is mandatory. Like, why are you even converting these file formats? Well, no, that is not true. You know what? I take this back because you have YAML, and then you would want a starting point. And if I take this away from you, you don't even have a starting point. Yeah. Okay, so we can leave the schema as a to-do, or we can copy. You know what? We can copy from check. In check, we do the cool thing, right? Here we make the schema est, and then we set it in there. So in our case, schema is an optional thing. Can make this better than optional struct path. And then it has AST. And then it has source. What the fuck am I doing? It's just a string. Okay, so we have schema be this. These guys are undefined. By default, when we set schema, we do if schema else null, I guess. Yeah, that's it actually. There we go. Okay, and then up here we do if schema refile alloc options, schema path, limited Ziggy, unable to read, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if there is a schema, then we write to it. And now we have the schema source and AST, which is delightful. So what do we pass down to that guy? Replace std out force lenient. For now, let's just pass the schema, and then if we need more, we'll figure it out later. That's fine. Something like this. That's nice. So for paths, I don't know. I'm gonna just nuke everything. We're gonna redo everything from scratch. We never ended up with a universal schema definition language. People try to make it the JSON one work on TOML and YAML, but that sucks. Oh man, JSON schema applied to templated YAML. That's some chef kiss stuff right there. So I think the check has something cool in here, does it not? Right, there is the any error stuff, and then there's clean exit at the end. Okay, so we'll look at the other stuff later on. Let's start with the clean exit. Okay, so let's implement YAML convert. We're finally at the thing. Let's say that it's null delimited. I don't know if it's necessary, but it's helpful. So let's keep it that way. source, and then we have schema, which we don't have a name for. Fuck, we need to give a name to that type. And then this returns either an error or a output string. We also need to represent if there was a mapping error or whatnot. Okay, we'll get there bit by bit. More than that, just need an allocator, I guess. Okay, let's give a type to schema. There we go. Okay, we now need a YAML library. So here's what I'm gonna use. So Jacob has a schema, a YAML thingy library. I don't know which version of Zig he supports. 0.15.1. Okay, that's kind of old, but this should be fine. Price test part of paths. I would nuke this, maybe even the license. In any case, so there's this, there's that, there's 10 PRs. Fix memory leaks. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Backward parsing and support for flow map syntax. Update to 0.16 IO interface. Hmm. But in any case, here's why I want this library. It's because it has a parser that produces a tree or something. Where is it? Token iterator, docs, nodes. I guess tree is what I care about the most. So tree has source, tokens, docs, nodes, extra, string bytes. It's structured kind of like the Zig parser, which I don't know if I love for what we're doing here, but in any case, it has what I need. So that's the point, more than anything else. There's also lib. So parser tokenizer tree. So how do we make a tree then? There's the init. There's accessors. I guess we don't make a tree. We get a tree from the parser, which makes sense, I guess. No, the init gives us a parser. Parse gives us either an error or void. So does it fill out a tree in here? Oh, to owned tree. Oh, there we go. Ah. Okay. So that's what we do. We make a parser, we parse, and then we call to owned tree. Or we don't. I mean, no, we do because 3 has all the accessors, I believe. I'm guessing 3 is the one that has node tag, node data, node scope, extra data, directive, row string, token. Whew. Okay, this is gonna be an adventure. I can already feel it in my bones. But yeah, I think I have a fork of Ziggin with some diffs. I updated this to a different version of Zig at some point. Origin and fork. There we go. There we go. So I'm gonna add my own fork as a dependency. Maybe we temporarily use the local one. There we go. Okay. Build script. Ziggy module. This is not the Ziggy module. This is the CLI. Oh shit! Wait a second. Oh no! Why am I in lazy LSP? Uh, we're gonna fail. Fuck. Okay. Okay. So the CLI module, we need to give it also YAML. Yeah. I fucking knew it. There's no ring to end unlock. And that's why there's a PR for updating to 0.16. Changes are not massive, but and enough to be annoying. Enough to be annoying. Has anyone been able to get ZLS to work with 0.16? Well, the answer is very simple. You go to ZLS, you git pull. Okay, there were a bunch of changes. So there was a PR. There was a big PR from Techatrix that was working on supporting 0.16. He made some progress, but he did not merge it for a while. I'm looking at all these changes, and he probably was able to merge it. Raise Zig LSP to use the new Ziggified LSP bindings. Add semantic tokens, refactor, adjust folding ranges. Update Tracy. Flake lock update. Update to the new IO interface. So he succeeded. That's his PR that got merged. So there's your answer. Let's see. Zig build. There we go. Okay, so we built. That's nice. So that's kind of how you do it. You just need to be a little bit aware of the development state of Ziggy. So I guess we might have working ZLS, which we did not for a while because, well, Techatrix was working on it. So let's do Zig build. Watch. Let's see how we're doing. Right, so our Zig YAML is missing those changes. What is the approach? Do I make the changes manually? Do I attempt to get that branch? You know what? I could temporarily depend on that branch. Why not? .0.16 IO interface. We could do that. If it works, why not? So zone file, nuke this. Oh, we need git plus. What was it? .0.16 IO interface. There we go. We have it. Oh man, I have so much Ziggy open. Okay. So this is now present. It's just named Zig YAML. I don't want that. I want it to be named YAML. See, we will watch. Fuck. It still contains errors. Oh man. That is so annoying. No, we don't have that. Also, this is just for test stuff. This is just for testing. That is so turbo annoying. Well, you know what we can do? Okay, we're in business now. Convert JSON. So I think we should like just not even reference JSON anymore. Oh man, look at how delightful it is to have these stuff available to us in the editor. Thank you, CLS. I love you. So, oh, these are like all those implementations. You know what? They, yeah, no. Let's just nuke all this stuff. Converter, we're gonna redo it from scratch. It's fine. Cannot assign to constant. Oh. There you go. Expected type T found optional T. Wow. Well, I mean, that is newsy less shit. Holy cow. Okay. I mean, it's not too bad. You could have told me what the type is, but okay, it's fine. And it is a good point. There you go. Okay, now we're building. Perfect. Okay, we're in building state. Now it's a matter of learning how to use the YAML dependency. Let's go. Okay, so how does this work? If there is no schema, then we just want you to iterate the full document. We need an iterator that enters and exits nodes. I also want to see parsing errors first. So I want to see parsing errors, and then I want to see, parsing errors first, and then I want to see if we have an iterator of some kind, or if I may have to make it myself. We iterate over the thing, and as we iterate, we output text to an allocating writer, and then that's it. If there is a schema, well, one thing that we could do is basically have a default schema and say that if the schema is not present, then we get the default one. And the default one will be fine because it has any, so anything, everything works with that. So maybe schema should be, yeah, we should have the default schema in that case. Okay. I see that. What am I doing? So no more of this. No more of this. Okay, we have a writer. Then we need to do the YAML stuff. So the YAML stuff is going to be const P is a YAML. Oh, we need YAML. Okay, so it's sending me to the right place. Why is the .init not working? Okay. GPA source and can return out of memory. Okay. Then where do we see errors? Error bundle.whip. Wait, do I need to call .to3 to own tree? No, because to own tree drops errors. So the heck is a whip? To own bundle. There's a lot of like Zig style logic that I'm really not confident is really necessary in this case. Add string, print string, add root message, add error message. Maybe some of it makes sense. Add bundle as nodes. Add ZIR error messages. Add Zoir error messages. Wait, how do you even print this motherfucking guy? Bro. Get error message list. Oh wait, we got into the standard library. Wait, I was saying, wait, why is this stuff in the YAML thing? But it's not. It's from SED Zig error bundle. Oh, we're reusing a Zig error bundle. I see. I see. I see. I see. I see. Error message list. Get messages. Get messages. Is there no FMT function, please? Oh, render to STDR. I guess that's what we want. So if p dot errors dot get error count, what was it? Oh, wait a second. This was a whip error. It's not a full error bundle. Okay, so we need to do to own bundle. But is there a way to know if there's anything in here in the first place? No. Okay. Okay. Compile log text. Uh, how do I fuck do I know what's that supposed to be? Is that source in our case? I guess it's source in our case. Maybe. Maybe do we have anything in here to deal with errors? Bunch of private functions. Somehow I feel like the public functions are gone and there's not going to be any more. Okay, yeah. Oh, right. But init didn't do anything. We need to do p.parse. Okay, p.parse. We switch on the error. And the error can be one of these guys. Hmm. These errors don't really help too much, honestly. Oh, string bytes. Is this maybe what we want? Okay, we don't switch on anything. But on an error, we say... Also, it cannot error with Oh, plus allocator error. Okay, that's weird. Okay. And so otherwise, we want to do this. Const errors equals p dot errors dot to owned bundle. I will assume that string bytes is what we must pass in, but I don't know. Although maybe we can see examples of this somewhere. No, tests are elsewhere, I guess. To own bundle. Maybe. And then we render to stdr. Color. I don't know. Auto. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. String bytes. Maybe. Specific arguments found one. Options. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, so we ran into CDR and then we so this failed. This call to convert failed. So I don't know, return error dot failure. Okay. Assuming that everything went well, then I guess we're gonna return an empty string. So here's what I want to do. I want to make this I want to make this work for the simplest use case. So let's have the stdin version work, and let's feed it a malformed thing, and let's see what happens at that point. Let's see what happens at that point. You need parse, it appears to be for typed YAML. Oh, there's also load for untyped. Oh no, the fuck? I didn't know this stuff. Load for untyped. Well, I mean, I already have this open. Let's go back to the original repo examples. Load. Yeah. I think the YAML.load though, let me go back to our lib. Load makes a parser on parse failure. Oh, here's how it works then. Then makes a tree. Self-docs defendants and capacity value. Self.yaml. Oh. Oh. Oh, you're right. Maybe I can use the higher level API. I was using the lower level API, wasn't I? But it's also true that I don't need this. I want to stay with the three. Like I want to call to own three, but that's where I want to stop. The rest I don't think I want. So good that you can pass an empty string to this guy. Now we know. Now we know. So here we have a tree. Well, okay, let's test this later. This all seems fine so far. I want to see what the error messages look like, basically, from this guy out of the box. Can we build? We're building, right? We're not building? We're not building. Error union is discarded. Oh. Okay. Test.yaml. I don't know. This should be invalid YAML. Let's see what that happens. What happens with that? Ziggy. So we're gonna do cat test.yaml. Pipe Ziggy convert std in YAML. We see nothing. Okay. Let's move this over. So we do get into convert. There are no errors. Wait, you're telling me that that thing that I wrote is valid YAML? Is that really it? Wait, wait. What the fuck is it doing? What is that triple dash there? But why is it valid YAML? And also, how is it that it changes it though? So how do you even make invalid YAML? Another one. Yeah, of course it's valid. Motherfucker. Oh, there we go. Unexpected token for key. Yeah. This error message is a mess. One thing that we can do is just say that the original document is invalid, and we just leave it at that. We just say it's invalid. Sorry, we don't tell you precisely why. It's like it's on you to use the toolchain of that stupid format to fix it. I don't know. This first example in the README accepts a type. Are you passing one? No, I think you're looking at a higher level API than what I'm using. I'm using parse from parser. So I make an instance of a parser and I don't specify a type because I want an AST. The idea of using Zig's own error types, though, is intriguing a little bit to me. Yeah, no, I was using the lower level API. I mean, if you look at how load is implemented, you will see that inside it calls parser.parse. What do we do with these errors? I mean, you know what? We could have temporarily, like, we could just temporarily show those and just call it a day. It does say memory, though. It should not be saying memory. Why does it say memory? How do we tell this guy that no, it's actually not memory? Oh no, well, no, in this case it is actually memory. True. Or rather, it's std in more than anything else. Here we don't pass anything, so it has to be in here. Okay, wait a second. Render to SDR, render to writer. Source data source path. Extra data source location. Jesus. Talk about overcomplicated stuff for us. Okay. It's fine. I guess before calling to own bundle, we could add something that says where the freaking uh what the source location is. 10 bundle as string print string add root message with notes. Add source location. Whatever. So once we have a tree, what do we do with a tree? Node tag, node data, node scope. Scope is the start and end, right? Yeah. Data tag. Document with no extra metadata comprises an index into another node. Payload is maybe value. Document with directive. Payload is doc with directive. Oh no. Yeah, have fun with toggle. Map with more than one key value pair comprises of an index into extras where payload is map. Payload is X. Jesus, man. List with two elements. It is selected into the string table. That's also another like interesting thing, I guess. Eh. And in any case, we don't have an iterator. In all of these, there is no iterator. Does the library have an iterator anywhere of any kind? There's a test in there. There's a test in there. Hmm. The init parse. And a bunch of private methods. Yeah, this guy doesn't have anything. Tokenizer. Okay, there's no iterator. It's on us to make. So hmm. Okay. We need to make an iterator. Also, we need to see what does nodes have a tag. They have a scope. They have data. Wait, what about nesting information? Okay, let's say that this thing is compresses an index into another node. Payload is maybe value. Okay, let's say that we have a map single. Let's say they have a map many. So what do we have in map many? Wait, map many. One kill pair compresses of an index into extras where payload is map. Payload is extra. I guess we can look at Stringify for inspiration because Stringify needs to essentially do what we need to do here. But man, let's take a look at Stringify. Oh, it's not Stringify. What am I saying? Oh no, there might be no implementation of that. There might be no implementation of what I just described. Shit. Well, no. There has to be one of these things. It's parser, something like doc. I don't know, or value. Doc begin parse footer map. Okay, let's take a look at this guy. Ah, there we go. Value from node. Wait, but where is value defined? Is it defined in here? Oh, there is also Stringify for. There you go. Here's value. From node dot unwrap. Hmm. It's also recursive, understandably. Hmm. Mm. Hmm. It's an annoying situation, man. Having one dependency, it's already making it annoying for me to do stuff. And we're gonna have to repeat these also with Jason and Tomo and Zon. Oh, you know what? Just the three. I think it's better at this point. Yeah, I have to figure out how to write an iterator that enters and exits nodes. Mm, this is so boring, man. But that's what you have to do to make this stuff work. Um, I have some funny business with ZLS and C imports. Sometimes it fails to recognize that headers exist. One thing that certainly makes a difference is whether your project builds successfully or not. If your project fails to build, then ZLS will sometimes have trouble with stuff. While instead, if you are able to have everything built successfully, then usually it's able to find stuff. There's also the aspect of I think that for ZLS to be able to find your C import files, I think you need to specify to ZLS which step to run in your project. You need to have, like, ideally, you would need to have a check step, or you would need to tell ZLS to run the default step, so Zig build. And the idea is that that command that you're like that build that you're running, that command that you're running should set up C import correctly for ZLS to be able to observe that, I believe. So a few things to keep in mind. So this is, I think it's a like a from to situation. Either that or what do we do in iterator? State is either enter from to, okay, from next. That's how we do it. Why should struct definitions be const? Like, why explicitly mention const since it cannot be a var anyway, right? Um, it could be var, yeah. It could be var, but you would have to resolve it at comp time. So you can definitely have a var, a mutable variable that contains a type, but then that would need to be, you can mutate it, but at comp time, and then you need to then write the result of that computation out to a constant value. So yeah, you can have mutable variables with types in them. That said, if I turn this const into a var, then it's going to be a problem because this stuff cannot live in this scope, in this global scope up here. But in any case, the point is that setting aside what I just said about the fact that you can, the general point is also that Zig doesn't have special syntax for dealing with types, just values. So you put them in a variable, and the variable, when you define a variable, you say if it's const or var. Mr. Demon Wolf. What is Zig anyways? I've been hearing about it lately. Is another lang hyped like Rust? Huh. Good question. So Zig is a systems level programming language. I think in some ways it's hyped less than Rust because Rust gives you the promise of making perfect programs. Doesn't always live up to the promise, but that's the promise. I'm joking. But people do conflate memory safety with correctness a lot. So especially, I feel like that marketing, Rust's marketing tends to do that a lot, and people just buy that too much. Ziggy is hyped to some degree. Yeah, some people like it, but yeah. Do. So this iterator's business is painful. Yeah, from index, next index, 01. Direction, enter, exit, done. An event is a, yeah. Okay, so how were we implementing this in here? We don't care about skipping. We look at the internal state and we say if we are entering, then we look at the from node. But this no exit business we don't have. We're basically trying to decide if the next node is one that we enter into or if first we should exit. Hmm. Yeah. I need to redo this work. So here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to call the stream here. I'm going to go make lunch instead. Maybe I'll return in the afternoon. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But basically, I need to replicate this logic because the parser itself doesn't give me an iterator of any kind for the AST, so it's on me to get my hands on one. Well, make my own. And then hopefully once we have our iterator, then we can start integrating it with the schema stuff. So yeah, thank you all, and I'll see you next time. You know what? I'll rate Toggle since I think he's still streaming. So go watch Toggle. Go watch some Rust. See you all next time.